Good evening, everyone. Sorry about that. My mic was muted and I didn't know it. My name is Kayla and I am hosting the webinar this evening. We are Ceccacci join us here and just having a little bit of technical difficulty. So we're going to make sure that he's able to get on and join us this evening. Going to go over a little bit of the housekeeping here while we wait for everybody else to log on. The first icon that you're going to see, this number 1, is going to be your microphone. You can click that microphone to ask any questions. We're going to open them up here in just a little bit. I do have everybody muted currently, and we will open those up here in just a little bit. I'd like to thank you guys all for joining tonight. The third icon is going to be your question mark. If you have any questions, you can type those into the chat. I see you, John. Hi, John. I see you've already figured out that question box there. But if everybody could go ahead and click that number 2 icon with your hand, that way I can see that everybody can hear me. Thanks, Jacoby. Thanks, John. Thanks, Laura. Thanks, Dee. Thanks, Gwendolyn. All right, and I can put all of those down in one click of a button. Bear with me for just a second, just trying to make sure Chuck's able to get on here and get him ready to rock. All right. As we proceed tonight, let's see here. So a little bit about national training. We were incorporated in 1978 as a proprietary post-secondary vocational education institution. We are committed to providing a strong curricula with programs that emphasize practical, usable skills blended with a relevant general education foundation. We have a caring environment with personal attention and close faculty-student interaction, and we also have open door admission. We are Florida's oldest private truck driving school. We have a state-of-the-art training facility. We have a 1.25 mile multi-lane highway that ensures safer, more efficient training. And we've graduated over 40,000 students since 1978. You might ask yourself, why drive a truck for a living? Simply put, job security. Everything that you touch in this nation, 93%, is at one point or another been on a truck. So there's a lot of opportunity for truck drivers out there in this industry. So some more about our school. We have thousands of drivers that have had their very first truck driving experience in our trucks. We do have cab over engines with sleepers, as well as conventional condos, sleepers, and day cabs. This might be what the inside of your truck might look like once you become a truck driver. You're going to have your bunk, your driver's seat, lots of storage. Might have a table that folds down, and you can put that down and then spread your bunk out here so you have somewhere to sleep. Got your co-pilot seat and your driver's seat. These driver's seats are usually very, very comfortable. They you have to be sitting in them for quite a long time every day, so they want to make sure that they are state-of-the-art and supportive and comfortable for their drivers. Most companies are going to equip their trucks with microwaves, maybe a TV, mini fridge. Different companies have different luxuries. Driving jobs, there's lots of driving jobs available out there. You can haul freights of all different kinds. You can remain primarily in a specified area of the country. Most companies do offer weekly home time, great pay, steady runs, and company benefits. Bear with me, guys, for just a second. I'll be right back. I'm going to try and get Chuck on here. He's still having some problems. Be right back. All right, guys, sorry about that. I am back. He's just having some issues getting the link to work for him. So we're going to continue just a little bit more while we're waiting on him. The driver pay scales for a truck driver currently, as you see, these are statistics from 19 to 20. We have to go by what the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics has posted, and that's what is the most current. So these are even on the lower end of things, realistically speaking. You see your general freight trucking average annual salary $46,250. Very low on the scale from what I'm seeing reports coming in from our alumni and the companies that we work with. School qualifications for national training. We will review your driving record, your criminal background, physical abilities, administer drug screens, and most important, we want to know your intensity to succeed. We ensure that you can benefit from this training before you start, and by doing so, we're making sure that you are employable. So while we continue to wait on Chuck, we're going to go over I'm going to show you guys our virtual tour here. Some of you might have seen it while we were waiting on the webinar to start. I did have it playing just a little bit, but kind of walk you guys through what our facility here looks like. So as you enter, we have a sign out front, so it's easy to find us. This is our main building here that we use for our schooling. It's our lobby area. The first day of school, you'll check in with us. That's my office right here. We do have boards posting anybody who's testing, nice little waiting area. We do have a doctor who comes in every Monday and does our DOT physicals, and those take place here on the campus. They're going to do an eye test, check your blood pressure, things like that. That's me. We have our job placement department. We do lifetime job placement assistance, and we help all of our graduates find gainful employment upon graduation. We have relationships with tons of different companies, over 150 to be exact. We have a nice lunch area with vending machines, coffee, always have coffee available, microwave, refrigerators for you guys to use, store your lunch in. We are kind of out here in the middle of nowhere, so we want to make sure everybody brings their lunch every day. Do have some food. These things are going to be found in one of those vending machines. We also have this state-of-the-art simulator that we utilize for our training facility in our computer lab. That simulator is super, super crucial. Helps a lot of people with a lot of different things. This is our classroom. That's John Adams. He's our lead CDL instructor. Great guy. Wouldn't want to learn from anybody else. He is so intelligent and makes the class so much fun and engaging. Not like listening to Charlie Brown's teacher talk on and on. He's a hoot for sure. They're going to go over log books, safety, things like that. And then this is where we do all of our hands-on training. We have all of our trucks lined up where you're going to do your pre-trip inspection with one of the instructors to start off, and then you learn how to do it as you go, practicing it every day. Then we have Mike Adams. He is our training director. He's going to go around the track and kind of show our facility. So I'm going to let you guys see a little bit of what he does. Unfortunately, the sound won't work, but definitely can let you guys see, just so you can get a few of the aerial shots of what our facility looks like. This 1.25 mile track that we teach you how to drive on before you ever leave the property. It goes all the way around. Let you get to an aerial shot. That way you guys can see that, and then we'll continue with our webinar. All right, guys, we have our resident training program here with our career services placement process. We've been perfecting our graduate to work program for over 43 years. It really works. The career service department starts working with students on the very first day of resident training school. We use one-on-one private counseling sessions to direct our students to companies that would be a good match for both the company and the student. We do have a job board that we update weekly, truckschool.com/jobs, for all of our graduates to be able to utilize and find a company that is a good fit for them if they're looking to make a change. Might ask yourself where you stay. Answer is anywhere you want, but if you're looking for the best deal, we suggest the Green Cove Springs Inn, located about 7 miles from our training facility. Green Cove Springs Inn has a microwave, refrigerator, free cable with Wi-Fi, and free HBO as well in all the rooms. Special rates training for our students. Double occupancy is $902 for 4 weeks, which breaks down to about $34 a night. I see Chuck has been able to finally get on. Thanks for coming, Chuck. And go ahead and get over to his website here so we can listen to what he has to say. Chuck, are you there? I think you got yourself muted.
All right, there. Try that. How are we doing?
Thanks everybody for bearing with us. I know technology can be more of a pain than it's worth sometimes, so I appreciate you guys sticking around. All right, Chuck. Well, let's go over Schneider.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the history of the company.
So yeah, I appreciate your time, and again, yeah, like you said, thanks for holding off there. I'm a little bit challenged on this whole technology thing, but yeah. So Schneider started in 1935. So what's that? 87 years ago now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what about the company is like stands out to different drivers?
Well, I'll just start. I'll describe the company, kind of do what I do during the presentations at most of the schools. So, and I'll tell a little bit about myself as well. But Schneider is, again, we're based in Green Bay, Wisconsin, but our footprint is huge, in every state in the country. But we have a really big footprint in the Southeast. And I'll speak a lot on the Jacksonville and North Florida, South Georgia areas, of course. But yeah, we have. I'll just tell you the type of trucking that we have, and then a bit of our background, our training and orientations. But so van truckload, I'll start with that. That's we have that available in numerous types of jobs. It's you could be hauling Kimberly Clark in the morning, and later on in the afternoon at Campbell's Soup. I mean, you name it. It's just a mixed bag. It's anything and everything. And that's available, of course, solo or teaming. It's regional, and when I say regional, like most trucking is pretty much regionalized now. We're talking 300 to 500 miles from where your base operations at. The next part of Schneider, my favorite part, is dedicated. Schneider hauls and has been affiliated with 3/4 of the Fortune 500 companies in the nation. You name it. In the Southeast here, for instance, we're big with Target, Walmart, Dollar Generals. We're dedicated to that specific lane. Predictability is probably the best thing I can describe a dedicated account as. And we have that in both van as well as tanker. And another division that I'm proud of that I drove for up in Atlanta was our intermodal. And I'll use Jacksonville again. Is CSX is obviously headquartered here in Jacksonville, so we're big with them. We're big. We've been doing the intermodal, the truck rail, if you will. That's the 53-foot boxes that we put on the rail. Yep, we own those boxes. We own the wheels that they're on. So the advantage there is that they're well maintained equipment. They're all satellite tracked. All of our trailing units are satellite tracked, and we always know where they're at. But intermodal, we've been doing it for 30 years. And we plan on doubling that fleet here in the next 5 years. So they're putting a real big emphasis on that nationwide. And I'll tell you, we have our tanker division, or bulk, we call it, but tankers. That's pretty big. That's all over the country. We train there. We only train in a couple locations it's in Houston or up in Coriopolis, Pennsylvania. We have numerous operating centers and training centers coast to coast, by the way, over 40 of them. Let's see. Tanker, again, we have some teams, but mostly solo, regional, and you're dedicated, as I mentioned earlier, like Colonial Oil, for example, out of Savannah. And they focus up and down 95 around the ports, even though they're hauling the tanks. So you're home multiple times a week. There's one more. This one really gets classes excited when I'm talking to them, Kayla and everybody. It's called Jet Set. And by the way, all these jobs, and there's a reason why I'm telling you all these different jobs, but Jet Set is paying a significant amount of money. This is where we'll literally fly you from your home base. And I'll use Jacksonville, for example. We'll fly you out to, say, Phoenix or Chicago or Kansas City, Los Angeles market. We fly you where you need you. And I'm using intermodal, for example. You'll go out, you work 3 weeks in that market, you fly home, you take a week off. Those guys are making 6 figures. The top ones, 111,000, I believe, is what they're pushing at, right? And they're top drivers. Top drivers, you'll make a top driver here within a year. You get 3 pay raises guaranteed throughout the year. You move up fairly quick. It's just consistency. But that Jet Set and all these jobs I'm telling you about are right out of the box, right with your CDL. So when you go to our Schneider job site, it'll say all CDLs, experience hires. There's very few jobs out there. Dollar General is one. There you go. If it says all CDL holders, that's somebody with a brand new CDL. So here's the caveat I want to add. All these jobs, you can switch, bounce around, lateral move, whatever you want between them. Let's say you pick, teaming, where I say the real money's at. If you look at teams in different markets, they're all 6 figures per driver. But you burn out on that, you want to do intermodal, you want to go to a dedicated account, you could transfer without losing your benefits. If you want to move into the office, if you want to start training, you can do whatever you want here. Yeah, I've been doing this now 25 years. I left the Marine Corps, and I was only going to give this trucking gig about a year, and I got hooked on it. 25 years later, I'm still doing it, but I was able to move around throughout the company in different management roles. But somebody told me the sky was the limit, and I've passed that on to different people, and when they hear me, and they've taken advantage of that. So, it takes a lot to move around different companies. And there's a lot of great companies out there, not just Schneider. Gosh, I mean, I think we only haul 3% of the country's freight, and we're one of the largest. So that just tells you there's a lot of different ones to choose from. But it's also nice to come to somewhere where you can move around and have a different atmosphere job, and you can move to different states if you ever wanted to. So, yeah, and go ahead, Kayla. You interrupt me anytime you need to.
Good. I love hearing everything you have to say. I think that's one of the biggest things that appeals to so many people with you guys is because, like you said, they can hop around if they get burned out on something. Kind of gives them an opportunity to kind of figure out what their avenue really is as a truck driver, especially somebody right out of school. They're not going to necessarily know what it is they want to do for the rest of their career. That's what makes you guys such a great career company.
Yeah, and it's in whatever career path you want there, it's open. Like I said, you can stick with the operations side if you want to move up. I always brag that your best management for driver management fleet are the guys and gals that have had windshield time, that they know the lifestyle, they know what's going on. Or you can go to the corporate side. There's a lot of people that have advanced in the corporate side of this game here. So we're a $6 billion company. But we're small. We're also very small in our market. So we're very open. All our offices are, there's no bulletproof glass or security between drivers and office staff. They know who keeps the lights on around here. So,
absolutely.
Yep.
Backbone of the company for sure.
Yeah, communications are big. I will say this, and I'll just add, like your school, safety is paramount. Safety is our number one core value. We preach that, both people in the office and of course the drivers. We are we never stop training here. We have our simulators. So that's probably what sets us apart from a lot of companies. That's what attracted me most coming from the aviation community, was safety. So, in military too. But I think 20% of our fleet are military guys, former military. And we do a lot with the military. Yep, that's John Richard there. I was fortunate enough to drive one of those trucks back in 2013, so that was the official Ride of Pride driver back then. But that was a highlight of my time with the company. But we do a lot for veterans. If you've driven or any MOS, we take care of. We'll give you a year seniority right off the bat with any MOS if you come to us within a year of your EAS or getting out. If you had a driving job, and you had the GI Bill or post 9/11 bill, you can get up to $1,430 to $1,431 a month for a whole year added to your pay. So we have military recruiters within that are able to take care of that and help you out if anybody's a veteran. Also, this is another side note. 13% of our fleet now, I think it's a pretty big number, 13% are women drivers. We have one of the largest groups of women drivers in any company out there now. And that goes and that reflects in our instructor and training engineer or driving instructor fleet as well. So a lot of people ask a lot, are there women instructors? Absolutely. That's Kayla right there. Her name's Kaylee. She's from Ogeechee Tech out of Savannah area. Yep. And she's our poster child. Yep. She's got 4 kids, so she's able to maintain a home life and truck at the same time and train. She's also a training engineer now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Women in Trucking is an organization that was kind of started and headed off with a lady here at Schneider as well. So it's a good company. I know I'm limited on my time. And I'll just tell you, you pick your jobs, the recruiters, in the house work with you. They answer a lot of questions. Our orientation is anywhere from 18 days. It's paid orientation, by the way. The training orientation is 18 days. 6 of those days you're out with a training engineer and you're doing 90% of the driving. The bulk is a little bit longer for obvious reasons. But I always brag on the bulk and tanker drivers. They're the best drivers, hands down. I mean, just by what they do, the type of equipment they're moving and unloading. But it's not for everybody. But yeah, it's a great company. That's single occupancy rooms. Obviously, when you get to these training locations, and they're decent hotels, they feed you twice. They pay you again. I mentioned that. I think you're not going to get rich. I think it's $80 or $85 a day while you're in there for the 18 days. And then obviously when you start rolling, you get your truck, down the road you go, you make the more money. Let me add this, Kayla. For my whole time that I've been driving, we've been talking about hourly pay. Schneider is forefront right now. A lot of our divisions that I've mentioned, just about all of them, have moved into pay by the hour. I can tell you, just like it really matters what your W-2. All the W-2s have gone up, like I think around 10%. But essentially, you're getting paid more while if you're sitting somewhere. Before, you didn't get paid. You only got paid when you really were going down the road. Now you're paid for everything. So that's something we've been talking about. Schneider's forefront with that. It's been very successful so far. We just started it here in the last few months. Our in-house recruiters will be able to dive into the details more of each job that's out there. You're paid for everything you do. If you have I will use Dollar General, for example. That's an account. If you have to hand touch anything, that's accessorial pay. You're going to get paid for it. But I will say that's 95 to 100% of our freight is drop and hook, meaning you bring a loaded trailer in, you drop it down, and you keep moving. So we're not touching freight like the old days.
Okay, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about what a driver for Schneider might see as far as benefits go.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll just start off with vacation time. Vacation, after 6 months, you get a week's paid vacation or 5 work days. After you hit the year mark, you move into 2 weeks PTO. And you're paid, I think, 6, 7 paid holidays a year now. United Healthcare is our provider for health insurance, vision, dental, all that's available here. My favorite thing, I just discovered it not long ago. Maybe some of y'all on the call know, but it's something called Teledoc. And I'll just use pink eye, for example. If you get pink eye, you know what you have, or an earache, you get on the computer, especially when you have kids and school starts. You get on the computer, you talk to somebody, and an hour later, you're at Walgreens picking up your prescription. Didn't cost a dime. So I thought that was pretty neat. Got to experience that not long ago. Yeah. So other benefits, we pay tuition back. We'll pay yours, like whatever the schools charge. Your school, we will have a tuition reimbursement. It's $200 a month. And if you decide to team, it's $400 a month. Gosh, yeah, there's so many. Cell phone, 20% off your cell phone. There's hundreds of different little quirks, but those are good benefits.
Awesome.
401k, Schneider matches 6% of you can actually put more, but Schneider will match 6% towards your 401. They use, I think it's through Wells Fargo now. It used to be Charles Schwab. But yeah.
That's wonderful. Tell me a little bit about the trucks and equipment that Schneider has for their drivers.
Okay, yeah, good question. Thank you. So I know your school, Kayla, trains with a lot of 10-speed, which is great. Not everybody has it. I am a big fan of learning how to drive manual transmissions. However, some people hate them. But I know they're there. But we are 100% automatic fleet now. And automatic trucks, I forget, they're the select shift. They're great transmissions. I was not a big fan until I actually drove one. I was a local driver in Atlanta, so I fell in love with it. Our fleet are mostly Freightliner Cascadias, and yep, just like that. And in that particular truck, if you look close, that's what we call a mirrorless truck. There are no West Coast mirrors on there. There's little camera fins on top. About 250 of our trucks have that now, and we're increasing those. So Schneider puts a lot of innovation in the trucks. There's a lot of modernization. So instead of having mirrors now, there's little cameras inside on the A-pillars, like right, where the doors are. I don't know if there are videos on it and stuff. But anyway, the cameras pick up, or the mirrors are inside towards the edges of the windshield, and they depict what was hanging out. There you go. Yeah. So anybody can watch that. There it is. So we actually save a lot of fuel with that, about 2% fuel savings. And you look at the fuel prices nowadays, 2% means a lot with a fleet of 10,000 plus tractors. So that's where we're moving towards that technology now.
That's pretty cool. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, you should watch the video, and it's less Dandrella there. Yeah. So, but yeah, we have a few international trucks, very few. I would say the majority of our fleet are the Cascadias. You see the refrigerator there. All trucks are spec'd with refrigerators. They got mounts for, I think, up to a 32-inch TV, flat screen TV. They've already got it pre-mounted for you. Inverters, so you can get a microwave. Gosh, they even put memory foam mattresses in the tractors nowadays. So, I mean, they really look out for the drivers in their comfort.
That's great.
And I'll tell you about our terminals real quick, our operating centers. I mentioned we have about 40 plus large operating centers around the country there. And in between each one of those, there's probably hundreds of secured lots, meaning or facilities that we're dedicated with. I'll use Target in Midway, Georgia, for example. You park your vehicle in a secured lot, you get in your tractor, and you go. These large facilities, and again, just like the video you showed there, these large operating centers around, let's see, the nearest one from Jacksonville is probably Charlotte or Atlanta And when I say operating centers, with shops, of course, they got fuel. They have restaurants and these things, free laundry, showers that are clean after every use. I mean, they're really nice facilities. Um, and parking is a premium out there now since the electronic log days. Everyone is hitting these truck stops and filling them up in the rest areas relatively quick. So you've usually always got a place to park somewhere in the country secured, and it's kind of a nice deal being as big of a company as we are, to have a place to be with your family, so to speak, while you're on the road. Um, yeah, it's again, I know I'm limited on time, but it's just there's so much. And SchneiderJobs.com also has a YouTube channel, and you just click on the videos there, and you can see hundreds of videos on any subject that you can come up with. What's it like in orientation? What's it like this? What's this type job about? What's bulk? What's intermodal? It's like that mirrorless truck that was one they just put up.
Mhm.
That picture there is Dallas. There's 1,100 parking spaces in that facility, so it's one of our premier ones. Yeah,
That's a lot. Well,
yeah,
that's awesome. Well, at this time, I think, Chuck, let's open up the phone lines to everybody and see if anybody has any questions.
yeah.
I did get a question already in the chat, that if they want to be a team driver but they don't have a teammate, do you guys work with people to find a second person to do team driving with?
We sure do, and I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, it's it's they will match you, where you live or your preferences. Do you want someone that's experienced or more inexperienced? And if it doesn't work out, you can switch out. People switch teams often. I mean, some people team up and they stay together for years. They just work together. It fits out, but they absolutely will do a match and help you out. We have a whole management team and segment of just team operations, and they actually train how to be a better team driver. Simple things like if if the truck stops and someone leaves the truck to go to the restroom, make sure you look in the back, or somebody leave a pair of boots up on the seat or something to we don't want anybody to get left behind. But that's yeah. They really do have a good network of team in here. So that was a good question, but we would absolutely do that.
That is a great question. So I'm going to kind of go through a few people here on the list and see if anybody has any questions they'd like to ask. D, I see that you just actually typed one in. How long is training for new CDL drivers again?
It really depends on the job you pick, but overall, it's 18 days. And again, and I'll just the overview of that is you show up, whatever job you pick. Okay. I'll just use Charlotte for you. Show up in Charlotte Operating Center. You're there, you do more range work, you'll do more classroom, you learn how to be Schneider driver, how to work our computer system, how to get your work assignments, how to run our electronic logs. You do slow maneuvering, you still do more driving, and then 6 of those 18 days you're back out on the road, um, working with an actual training engineer that, again, you're doing 90% of the driving, and you're probably on a dedicated account with he or she, the training engineer. And I will tell you, training engineers aren't just somebody that's a regular driver. They've been through 3 weeks of training or a massive, an intense school. They're there to set folks up for success. So they're not a pass fail kind of thing. They find an area they need coaching or need help in, they're going to guide you. They're going to figure it out, to get you through, to set you up for success for the future. So they're really good at what they do.
That's great. They gave a thumbs up. All right, Gwendolyn, Lindsay, do you have any questions? I see it looks like you're joining us via your phone. So if you have a microphone, you can click on that, or if you'd like, you can type it into the chat. Did get another question from D. Does your company provide layover pay?
There's not layover. I guess I don't understand. Like if there's we have to take 10-hour breaks anyway. What you mean? Like if you're broken down? I probably don't understand the question.
Probably. I think usually when they refer to it, it's more like they said yes if you're broken down, or if you're between, like waiting on a load, things like that.
So we do have detention pay, and that's rare. Let's say you're there more. It depends on the customer, but yeah, if you're at a customer more than say 2 hours, and then you get more paid by the hour. If you are broken down and there's no truck available for you, which is again most times if your truck breaks down, they're going to get you in a rental car, get you to an operating center, and get you on your way. So and I will add to this, you're 24/7, 365. There's somebody to reach out here. You're not out there waiting till morning for someone in the office to show up. But mostly, it's rare. You're not going to be stuck somewhere. To be like a layover, if you will.
That's awesome. All right, let's keep going. Gwendolyn just typed in. She's been in school already. Do you have an apprenticeship program?
Do we have? Yeah, we have an apprenticeship program, and it changes pretty much. So when you go to the Schneider jobs site there, and you click on your town, you can click. There's a button there that says commercial. It's like a commercial apprenticeship. There's a CDL apprenticeship, and then there's one called company paid. So you would look underneath. Which zip code did you have up there before? You just pick whichever one there in your town. Let's see what's available for. There you go. So when you look up on the top left there, do you see where it says company paid CDL training on the left margin? Yeah. Look at the one that says CDL apprenticeship there. CDL apprenticeship, click that. So right there, you've only got, how many are you showing? Just one of one?
Just one.
So it's a regional van, a truckload truck driver, and I'll say that's horrible. I wouldn't even. So essentially what they're going to do there, you would have training. You'd go to Charlotte with zero experience, zero anything, and they're going to train you at the academy. We still have our own academy, and you'll be kind of locked into that job for, they say, 9 months. But I mean, personally, I say go to a great school like this one or a technical college and come in as an open agent. It really depends on where you live. You got Green Cove Springs there. If you were to put in like an Atlanta zip code, there's probably maybe 5 jobs available for CDL apprenticeship. And it really just depends on the need in that area. That's why that one, it's got such a low, to me, that's a low figure. But we do have apprenticeship training. I'm sorry, I'm beating around the block on this thing, but and it's a 5-week course, by the way, so you can always check back and see it's a 5-week school or 5-week timeline. They're paying you while you're at a Schneider, so you're getting paid while you're going through that 5 weeks of training.
Gotcha. All right, so, Kobe, what about you? Do you have any questions for us that you can type in, or you can unmute yourself and ask your question?
Mm-hmm. No, ma'am, I don't have any questions.
Fantastic. All right, John Fitton, I know you've asked a couple of questions. Did you have any other questions for Chuck while he's still here with us? You can either unmute yourself or you can type it in the question box.
No, I don't have any more. Thank you.
You're welcome. Laura McKenna, how about you? Do you have any questions?
Yes, I do.
Absolutely, ask away.
That training, that CDL apprenticeship, is that, do you have a start time, a specific start date, or how that works?
They start the CAT program is every Monday. So whichever one you pick, again, there was that one regional you showed there. I would guess you'd probably go to either Atlanta or Charlotte. They kind of have them in your geographical areas, but every Monday, that you would start. Of course, prior to going to the school, you'd have to do, all the background, all the drug screening, and the MVRs, which happens fairly quick, but you'd have to have all that prerequisites done before you went.
Okay. Also another question. What type of trucks do you have? I mean, do you have only manual or do you have automatic trucks?
We're 100% automatics now. So, yeah, we're all automatic fleet, and most of them are the Freightliner Cascadias, and they're all about 3 years, three and a half years, and they trade them in.
Okay.
Good question.
Mhm.
All right, I got a couple other questions that were typed in. Do you guys have a pet policy?
Yes, thank you. In pets right now, it's the only pet policy we have are for team associates.
Okay.
We don't have it available for solo drivers yet, but teams are able to have pets.
Fantastic. And then kind of along the same lines of that, what about a rider policy?
Yes, after 6 months, if you're being a brand new driver, of course, inexperienced driver, they want you to have 6 months to figure this out. Obvious reasons. It's a lot going on in those trucks. So 6 months you can. Your children have to be 10 years old or older, and if it's anyone else, have to be 18 years or older. And it's just a matter of requesting it, and you get a form. You keep it on the truck with you, and then yeah.
Fantastic.
Pretty simple.
All right, Chuck. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. One more question. John Fitton
Sure.
asked if you allow service animals.
Yes. Yeah. Now they have to be, they have to fall under the federal guidelines and such. There are different categories of service animals these days, so I'm not sure which one you. The guidelines. The answer is yes.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Chuck. We always enjoy having you on, and always enjoy having you here at the school as well. So if anybody else has any questions for him, we can you can relay those to me, and I can definitely get those over to him. But thank you so much, Chuck, and we will see you here in about a week and a half, right? I think you're coming in to see me on the 8th.
Pretty soon.
Absolutely. Well,
Yep.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight, Chuck. We really appreciate it as always.
I enjoyed it. Thank you, Kayla. Sorry about the technical difficulties there, but yeah, I enjoyed this. Thank you.
I have them too. I get it. Not a problem.
Alrighty.
Thanks so much, Chuck.
Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
All right, everybody. So to just kind of continue on real quick here, wrap up our webinar for the evening, kind of go over a few more things before we jump off tonight. A little bit about the cost, fees, and financing for our school here. The cost of the school is $7,495. We do have multiple types of financing. We have outside financing with banks and credit unions, workforce, folk rehab, veterans, TAA, income share agreements, particularly Mirror Share. That's one of our biggest lenders that we deal with. In-house financing, and then, of course, the tuition reimbursement that you're going to get from different companies. After all, we've been doing this for a very long time. It's all good. We have it all. We have the companies and the jobs. We have industry recognition. We have impeccable governmental relations. We have guaranteed tuition financing for everyone. Over 40,000 graduates that came possibly before you. And we have a program that is fun to complete. We have an awesome training facility. We do appreciate all of our students that come from the Department of Veterans Affairs, Department of Vocational Rehab Programs, State Vocational Rehab Programs, State Workforce Programs, and the Bureau of Indian Affairs. National training is where the trucking companies come for new drivers. So not just Schneider, but like I said, we have relationships with over 150 different companies. At this point, I'd like to see if you guys have any questions in regards to national training specifically, more so, not just Schneider. So if you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and raise your hand or unmute yourself. I'll be happy to answer those for you. All right. So just some special announcements before we end tonight. Our next webinar is going to be 2 weeks from tonight on July 5th at 6:30. Our special guest that evening will be Donnie Graves from Windy Hill Foliage. We also have an open house event coming up on Saturday, July 9th. It takes place from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Bring your family, your friends, come on out and see our facility, give you a ride up in a truck, even show you our heavy equipment training areas as well. Thank you guys so much for attending tonight. I apologize for all the technical difficulties we were having. Appreciate you guys sticking around and hanging out with me this evening. You can contact your representative or our admissions office first thing tomorrow. Your lost time is costing you big money. It's all good. Just make sure you give us a call. Thank you guys so much for attending. You can sign off by going to File, Exit, Leave Webinar. File, Exit, Leave Webinar. You guys have a great night. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.